I think an 0-0 loss, you are out of the next tournament. You don't. Yeah, you're out. You don't get to play the next
You
tournament.
get your entry
You get like
revoked for
you
an
get
0-0
suspended.
lost.
You don't get to participate.
Yeah, I like. You get
0-0
fined.
loss. You don't.
Yeah, for like
You get fined.
Yes. So it's like not putting out a good quality product for the viewers with that lopsided match, especially I believe it was a quarterfinal, not positive on that. That's an easy 10K. Pull the ripcord on that 10K, find that team, and that's that.
0-0, dude.
And the crazy part is, we were joking about the fine, but I don't even think Garnett and Loom played that badly. They played okay. It was just too good from Fed and H. So
Because you know why?
Why?
Because it feels right.
It feels right.
Legendary.
Robert, are you in a hotel?
I am. I'm trying to figure out how to make lights work.
Yeah, you got to have that.
Unsuccessfully. This is a light that I'm
that's
trying to
okay.
get to turn on, but
Maybe it'll be one
But
episode
cannot.
where I have better color than you. No?
like, yeah, it's because I feel sickly.
Um,
So
Robert, where are you?
I'm in Frankfurt.
You're in Germany?
For a minute.
Oh,
Just
God.
long layover. Not here for a long time, nor a good time, actually. I don't feel well. Molly doesn't feel well.
Oh, no.
But we're going to a place that should make us feel better. We're going to the Maldives. So always been on the kind of like, it always looks pretty cool. So there should be a lot of clear water and sunshine, and I don't know. Should be fun.
The sun is healing. You're going to feel better soon.
The sun is healing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my hot take for the day.
So Maldives,
yeah,
India, and back.
Wow. All right, good. Just like Mama Papa Stone just took a trip to Maldives, so they enjoyed it. So I think you will too. Rob, there's a little APP action this past weekend at the Fort. Tell me something about that.
Probably not the cleanest opening to a venue I would ever say. Had some issues. Well, one thing out of their control, rain. The facility was like they pushed to get it open and ready to play and compete on. It was, in my opinion, too soon. The paint on the court, it seemed like it wasn't settled enough. So the blue from the inside of the court was picking up and turning into like a sandy type surface that it would just keep picking up every time it was played on. Sand would come up, create a slippery surface. And I'm guessing and thinking that was because the paint didn't dry long enough after it was set, after it was painted. And with how humid and wet it has been in South Florida, I just don't think it had enough time to dry probably. So it created an issue where we had to switch. Didn't even play at the Fort. We played at Diadem indoors, which not ideal because we basically had a 4-hour delay on gender doubles day. Supposed to start at 8. Maybe it was longer than a 4-hour delay, but supposed to start at 8. Moved to indoors. No, supposed to start at 8. Didn't play till 2. So yeah, 6-hour delay. Changed format, changed scoring format. And this is one thing that I have a pretty firm stance on. I don't care if Wimbledon is able to get in. Like, I think for however long Wimbledon's run and how much rain London gets, they've always been able to complete the tournament, I think, on time, within a day or so, without changing scoring format, So changing the main draw from 2 out of 3 to a game to 15, especially with how much money like entry fees are now and how far people are traveling from to play these tournaments. I just don't think you can change scoring format from 2 out of 3 to one game. I just don't think you should ever do it. So, anyways, that happened. The other issue was on mixed day we had rain, which out of their control, and they have covered courts. I think it was maybe 12 covered courts, and half the court is facing like a back wall, green wall, beautiful, nice visibility, and on the other side, no wall, just like a really short fence, and then just like light clouds, white light. Can't see anything. I whiffed a couple times. So, I mean, had one fine side, one really, really bad side on the covered courts. But I would say like on the one side where you're looking into the light, it's borderline unplayable. Like I don't think pro matches should have been played on a court where like visibility is that bad. So there are some issues. The court's going to be really sick once it's completed. The stadium court's still being built out. But I mean, they're going to have like they brought in like a ton of white powder sand. They're building like a lagoon in the back. The 2000, it's going to be a 2,000 seat stadium court, which it's going to look really, really nice once it's done. But I think the moral of the story is it was too soon, rushed a little bit. There's another tournament there, I believe, in early April. It'll probably be stunning, sick, perfect for that. But I feel like they should have probably done this tournament elsewhere.
Yeah, well, building a facility is hard. So you see it all the time online about
especially one that size.
Yeah, that size, little things. You're worried about big times, sometimes little things, big things, sometimes little things get in the way. I have also seen the sand issue before. I actually thought it was coming because I was on the West Coast. I actually thought it was coming like in the air or something and realized it was coming from underneath without the settle time. So the courts are sandy. It's no different than the lines being wet. That's a problem. So that's part of the deal. I like the idea about it, and having that 2,000 court facility seems awesome. And I know nothing about construction, but April seems like a pretty safe buffer of time to get everything where it needs to be. So, that's too bad that there was some problems there. And changing facility, changing indoor outdoors, changing scoring format is definitely stuff that you have to overcome, but it's not optimal.
It's just a little odd having like a sunny day in South Florida and just having a 6-hour delay to move to an indoor facility. It was just it was odd.
Yeah, I popped in and I saw like on the live stream it said it had a weird explanation. It wasn't just like it's weather delay. It was something like weather and court related, and I had no idea what that meant. And then I kind of through the grapevine, deep in the Twitter streets, realized that there was some court playability issues. So, yeah. Oh well.
So just live and learn. On to the next one.
On to the
next one.
We can just slash it right there. So we did not get together last week. So we have not even done a Masters recap for PPA. So is that correct? Or did we? No, that's correct. We did it. That is correct. Yeah. So unfortunately, just wild, apocalyptic, crazy pictures of Southern California. And there was supposed to be a tournament in Fountain Valley for the PPA Tour, and that got canceled. Not surprising whatsoever. So the next one is stateside, will be in Tucson, but there is actually one down under in Australia in between. So a little mini break PPA on the PPA side of things because of that horrible stuff going on down in Southern California. So in terms of the Masters, though, it was fantastic. We were about 2 hours east of where everything was happening in the Palisades, and it was lovely in the desert, temperature 60-70 degrees, and there was some pretty legit action going on, some really quality play. And were you able to watch any of that 2 weekends ago?
Yeah, I was able to. I wasn't able to see much of Championship Sunday, but from everything I heard, was some of the better. Like every match was pretty high quality and pretty competitive from what I read.
Yeah, I think semifinals was actually probably the best, as that's my normal routine of commentating for the PPA is I go whatever Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday through Saturday, and then Michelle McMahon and Dave Fleming do the Sunday. So I was extremely impressed on Saturday. You're supposed. There's supposed to be 2 4-hour blocks for the live stream. Early pairing, and then Dave and I in the afternoon. And I think we went 6.5 hours with how tight the matches were on Saturday. So it was pretty legit. So yeah, I think we'll just.
Did it feel like 6.5, or did it go quick?
Well, when it's better matches, it does go quick. But as I say, working is working, even if you love what you do. So, I like to be done. I like to be done, but in the moment when the matches are exciting and they're close, it is much better than, whatever, a 2-0 singles match or something like that, where it's hard to get too much emphasis behind your words and what exactly can you say at some point. So, yes, it was nice. It did go quick, but it was still 6.5 hours of working. So I can't complain though. I talk about
the only thing better than working is not working.
That's correct. But like I said, I talk about pickleball for a living. So if you want to hear me complain, you're probably not thrilled with that. So yeah, it was great though. Good crowds. Like actual numbers at Rancho Mirage, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, whatever you want to call it. The numbers are fantastic, but it is a slightly more subdued fan base. So you'll get some pockets in the other country where the crowd's a little more rowdy per person, but the overall turnout was very good. And, just a little, richer clientele, nice country club. They throw a free hat next to some of these people and they just kind of look at it like, what am I going to do with that? So it's a different vibe in the desert, but an overall good one and really good numbers on championship court and grandstand court. So yeah, it's fun tournament. Is that a Coca-Cola Classic?
It is not. It is not. It is a Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, also known as Null Zucker in German. I don't know if I said that right. So Null Zucker.
So is there a difference between Coke, no sugar, and Diet Coke? What's the difference?
There's I
don't understand.
Yes. The answer is yes. The difference is the taste. Coca-Cola No Zucker is significantly better than Diet Coke, no matter what Malin tries to say. She's a big Diet Coke supporter. She doesn't think Coca-Cola Zero Sugar should exist. I feel the opposite. I feel like Coca-Cola Classic regular shouldn't exist, and Coca-Cola Zero Sugar No Zucker should be Coca-Cola Classic and should be the de facto Coca-Cola product and the Coca-Cola suite of products and sodas.
Same ingredients.
There you go. You guys are just in a perfect relationship. Just polar opposites on your views on Coca-Cola. You guys are going to make it.
It's a high point of contention in the relationship is our Coca-Cola picks.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Corinne doesn't like that. I use too many paper towels. I use them frivolously. She doesn't like that. So
paper towel use. Yep. But I mean, that's what they're used for. They're towels that are paper. You're not going to reuse them. That's why you have paper towels. You're not going to have, if you want real tell her, if you want me to use real towels, Corinne, I'll use real towels. But if we have paper towels, I'm going to go through them because that's what you do.
Yeah.
She's right.
That's what you do. So
Malin also says Corinne's
I'm not wasteful.
Adam, I've got your back on this.
Yeah.
Paper towels are meant to be used.
I don't waste food. I recycle. I mean, what do you want from me? I use a few extra paper towels. That's part of the deal. It's all good. So
to me, that's like saying a guy should use 1 square of toilet paper for
never.
it's insane.
Yeah. I go through a roll a day. Let's go.
I mean, that might be excessive, but
it might be. So Rob, I was talking with Dave before one of our sessions, and it literally seemed like a year ago, maybe a little longer than a year ago. Singles was dead. Nobody wanted to talk about it. There was lopsided matches. The point construction and quality of athlete wasn't quite what it is now, and it just seems like singles is back in a big way and just right there on par with double. Some people even prefer that mano y mano style of play, and the level is very high. I know that it's high over on the APP side of things, especially in the singles category, and over on the PPA side of things, similar with the depth of the draws and the level of athlete that's playing. So I was one of those people that was a little out. I'm a doubles guy with my skill set. I can't play the singles, and I didn't enjoy watching it as much. Like I said, 18 months ago, and I'm back. I'm done with all that. I'm a huge fan of singles, and it's been a joy to be able to call some of those matches. Rob, I'm waiting.
happy for you.
I'm waiting. You're out?
No, I'm not out. I think it's one thing I do like about that I've seen some more of recently is on the men's side is staying back on the return. I think that similar to tennis, we had the era of the Pat Rafters, the Sampras, the serve and volley, to me, I liked watching that. That was kind of like a classic old school style of tennis where now you don't really have guys that come in ever, which I don't like the kind of the one or the other. I like kind of the all court having variety in your game. And I think that goes for pickleball for me as well. Like, I don't like when there's only a single way to play. And I think we've gotten to the point where guys on serve, when serving, the passing shots are so good that it's making it really tough for some guys to come in. Very much so. Also based on kind of size and length and what you're working with. So seeing some guys stay back on returns is kind of fun, and it's almost turned into like daring the other person to come forward because passing shots are so good. So I like that it's changing and evolving and switching to that. And I'm liking watching some of on the female side, watching kind of the baseline rallies. I like that it's getting away from the first person to come in to the kitchen line and hit a volley is going to win the point. I like that it's created some more variety on the passing.
Yeah, unsolved. I agree with that. I think Hunter Johnson, really one of the first people that really decided to return and stay back and pick the proper ball, or the ball that he wanted to come forward on his terms. So, and he had some just phenomenal success in the back half of 2024. So yeah, I agree. Completely unsolved. The ladies, you got a couple that charge in, a couple that stay back. But I don't think anything is exclusive. So you're seeing mixes of styles and opponent-dependent situations, and conditions can affect that. All different kinds of things can affect that. And if you ever start getting into some stale matchups or stale points, just throw Jaume Martinez-Vic in there. That dude with some of his, he's basically doing everything in his power to create cat and mouse points. He's drop volleying all the time. He is not even like drop volleying when he's in such commanding position to win the point like most players do. He's doing it with volleys to bring when he's at the kitchen, to bring his opponent forward and start those dink and dunk roll angle type points, which are extremely fun. And he had a great tournament in men's doubles and singles. Julian Arnold also had a very nice run, and we need to talk about some of his words after playing Quang Duong. So apparently
it was pretty fun.
Yeah, there was a situation where Quang possibly let his special friend Lauren Stratman know a little late that he was not going to play with her. He was going to play with Paris Todd. So Julian Arnold had some extra oomph and fire. Not that he needs any, but he did against the Kwong in the Kwong Duong match and ended up capturing that. And I think it was Tyler Leung that was there with a camera waiting. Not surprising that Leung was ready to get some content. And so Julian kind of gave Tyler exactly what he was looking for and made some comments about Kwong being immature with some partner stuff. Did you hear that? And what do you think about that if you did not?
Yeah, and I somebody had posted a list of things that he had said during the match, like as he was playing, and
I didn't see that.
they were pretty all time. I'll find it, and we'll see if we can post that in the comment section in YouTube here. But it's yeah, there's some all timers.
Yeah, no, he's got a good bark, and his bite has been less lately. But after this tournament, maybe Julian can use that to kind of get going in 2025. But the talking and the chatting and the chirping has always been there for him. So that was on one.
But you give Julian
No.
one match against anybody, and if there's some vendetta during that match, he could easily be the best player in the world for that one match.
Yes.
I mean, that's just, you give him a vendetta and something to come after you with, and you don't want to play him. Especially if it's on that wasn't on like a show court, but you put him on a show court with a vendetta, and he's the last person in the world you want to play.
Yeah, I agree completely with that. So, and he's been in those back and forths quite a few times with opponents, especially Matt Wright. Seems like every time he plays Matt Wright, not shocking. But I don't think he can get a little distracted at times, but I don't think it aggressively affects his play. I think it makes him better, and I think that he still plays his game while in those situations, and and Matt Wright does as well. So not everyone handles it as well as other players, but I think both of them do a nice job of using those situations for motivation. And clearly, if you're gonna take down Kwong Duong in singles, that motivation served Julian well.
Yeah, there's some nice comments about looking at your dad, like look at me. Yeah. And there's I'm doing this. I'm doing this in my 30s. Imagine if I was your age, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's quality stuff. Look me in my eyes. Don't look over to Duke. And of course, we have Duke Duong Cam. Duke Duong Cam is some of the best stuff I've ever seen in my life. So you have to put that cam on Papa Duong whenever you can, because he gives some fantastic reactions. So, this was a long segue to talk about Xiaomei, who.
That's what we do.
He had some special sauce this tournament. Men's doubles with Augustus Go was fantastic, but in singles, 1 and 2 against Julian, moves into the finals, gets kind of smoked by Federico Staksrud, but I just thought that he was playing fantastic. He had some extra pop in his paddle. His shots had some more emphasis with them, and I think maybe, I'm just speaking for him here, that it was he hasn't been playing that long, so it was like a happy to be here situation, and now it's hey, I'm legit. I always have been legit, and I'm going to take my game to the next level for 2025. So, I
love it. I think it's a big piece of it, Adam, is if you look at Xiaomei's results the last 2 or 3 tournaments of the year in 2024, I don't want to say it was full tank mode, but you look at the year in finals and maybe some of the last couple tournaments where, maybe it was just fatigue after a long year. I don't know, but it definitely seems like he has a renewed sense of energy this year, and good to see, because if he can maintain it, it would be a big year.
And he didn't come to the playoffs with the Atlanta Bouncers either for Major League Pickleball. So I think maybe that all the results on the PPA side, plus not going to the MLP playoffs with the team that you played with all year, I think that there was something going on in terms of worn down or just grind, and it's different now. And we'll talk a little bit more about Xiaomei when we get to men's doubles. But I also think that if you're beating Xiaomei whatever with his jovial demeanor and him kind of trying to interact with you and things like that. But if Jaume is beating you, he continues to do it. And I think it actually gets under certain players' skin a little bit, him being overly nice and trying to talk to me. It's like, dude, I'm dialed here.
Stop talking to me.
Get away from me. So I think it's all kind of part of the plan. And I think that his game style and his demeanor on court and overall personality is absolutely fantastic for the game. Big fan of that guy. Jaume, let's grab an IPA one of these days. I would love to.
Yeah, we need more.
More what? IPAs?
Well, yes, and just solid personality.
Personality.
It's always good to see. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, I think that's one of the things I miss the most about playing. There's not a lot, but just playing to the crowd, like letting my emotions on my sleeve and just kind of going about the process of the ups and downs of playing a sport, and I think it's extremely fun part of it. And, the actual playing I don't miss, but some of that crowd interaction and some of that stuff I do miss a little bit. And there was also a tweet about a vintage open possibly on the PPA tour where everyone will be required to wear or use a wooden paddle. And that kind of piqued my interest just a little bit. These players these days are too talented for me with the paddle technology, especially their own skill sets also. But those two together are next level. So I'm considering jumping back in the mix if there is a vintage open with wooden paddles only for one event. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like it. I don't think it should be wooden though. I think it should be like really, really bad, like crappy graphite something. I don't know. But just like call it a paddle from like 2012.
Okay.
But not wooden. Let's let's have it be plastic, but not wooden. Because nobody's even played with a wood paddle really, unless you're Wooden Paddle Gary from Houston.
WPG.
Which
yeah,
yeah.
The diller. He's got the diller. That's the wooden paddle of choice, and he's pretty lethal with that thing. One of the first players I played with in Houston. So I like that guy. He's quite a personality. We need him.
My first experience with him is. My first experience was at a money ball with him, and I just saw this guy with a wooden paddle, but he was looking off that way, so I had like a side profile of his face, and it was like a beautiful like manicured beard, like perfectly trimmed, and then he turns towards me, and it's split right in the middle, and this is perfectly clean shaven over here, and this is a full beard on this side.
I told you he's quite a personality.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, no, that guy is something. Got a great backhand though. Fantastic backhand, lots of power.
He's a good player.
No, he's not bad at all. So I agree. I know he's played some senior pro events. So let's talk about women's singles real fast. And we are not slighting the ladies, but there's just not much to talk about. Leigh Waters 3-1 against Kate Fahey, 4-1 versus Parrots Todd, 0-6 on Championship Sunday against Caitlin Christian. Leigh Waters is absolutely obscene, and Catherine got bronze. So that's my women's singles recap in a nutshell right there. She is. I don't understand how there's more separation. The guys tighter, and girls in general is tighter also. And then there's just Leigh. It's just otherworldly.
Yeah, Adam, on that topic with Leigh and the other ladies on tour, especially in singles. Have you asked that question or gotten any answers or any kind of insight into why do they think there's such a gap still? Why isn't that gap closing? How is Leigh beating them by such wide margins still consistently in singles to where it's just like it's a routine, like absolute drumming every time?
Yeah,
and we're talking like really high level, tennis ladies that have come over and people that are working on their game kind of full time. and it just doesn't seem like the gap's closing whatsoever.
It's not. So I would actually like to sit down with one of the more analytical ladies that kind of likes to break down the strategy, Anna Bright or somebody like that, and get into that. But it's just crazy because she's 5'6", like
Yeah,
how can she cover the court so well? How can she hit these shots when she's off balance? Not seems to never be off balance, but she's lunging, she's doing all these contorting her body, and her contact point is still clean, her power is still clean. Where she's aiming, where she is looking to hit the ball, it goes to where it's supposed to go almost every time. It is just something that is completely wild, and I think that I would like to do that sometime soon. When I'm going to commentate one of these tournaments, is ask a couple of the higher level ladies what's going on there, what's the difference.
Yeah, I think this is also I think it's also why it's good to ask. It's good to interview the people that are also losing some of these matches versus just interviewing the winners all the time. I think it's the more fascinating insight is typically coming from the person that just fell. It doesn't have to be right after the match, but let them digest and let them regroup and ask some of these questions later on. It's one, I don't find the question that these types of questions to be offensive as a player. I think it actually serves you well, because then you can kind of the best way to learn something is to teach it. So by kind of being forced to go over the match in your head and talk about it and try to understand what happened is also a way to help you kind of decipher and figure out what you need to do differently moving forward. So I would just love to see more kind of conversations with people that have come up short, especially against Anna Leigh, because if you're just one of these ladies, it's got to be so frustrating, right?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And especially for the ladies that don't have a coach or, aren't doing the film work, talk back through it for only 2 or 3 minutes. And that could be a huge factor in improving or getting a little bit better, or getting, not going to say beater, but getting closer next time. So I think you're exactly right. Give them a 10, 15-minute buffer, and then just, hey, come talk to me for 2 or 3 minutes in this designated area about how the match went and what's going on. Come on, let's go. AJ time.
Let's go, guy.
And then we'll talk about mixed. AJ, you come over here real quick, buddy. Oh yeah, my guy, AJ, AJ.
God, he looks so sharp, and we got the immediate smile. My God, dude!
Buddy
you
boy.
put AJ in daddy. You put AJ in daddy's arms. He's happy.
Ooh, AJ. And mom's in the room, which is kind of wild, If it's just me, then he is always happy. But if mom's in the room, there's a chance, So this is fantastic.
Well,
AJ,
I mean, he's
great,
not
buddy.
looking at you, Adam. He's looking away from. He's definitely looking at Corinne.
AJ, that's Robert. Do you see Rob? Say something for the people. You got 5 seconds.
Hey, guy.
You got 5 seconds, buddy.
I always talk to him like you don't have headphones in.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I was like, AJ. Yeah, so he can't hear
AJ. Yeah, he's always looking at mom. Now he's playing with the refrigerator, pressing the buttons. But anyway, yeah. So the singles is insane. I like the idea of interviewing the person who does not win. That's what we'll call them. And I think they actually did that at Worlds a little bit. I don't know where it got posted or if it went onto the broadcast. I don't think it did. But I think it's important to hear from both, especially if you're talking about Anna Leigh, who can only give so many winning interviews. It's like, what do you ask her? What do you do? That's tough for Cam Blackwood and Matt Manassi. Like, what the are you going to talk about with her? She wins just so much.
What this does not open the door for any tour to do is to bring back those godforsaken fake press conferences. Do not do it.
Oh, did we have that in pickleball? When did we have that?
Do you remember, it was a while ago, but yeah, they had set up this fake little backdrop and a little microphone on the table. It was just guys, this is super cringy, and like we're acting like there's not a press room. Nobody's there's a table with two people there.
Yeah.
Nope, there's no press asking questions. That's what a press conference is.
I do like the desk.
But
the desk,
I do like the desk is great. I like the desk. On the team that came up short side, or the player that came up short side, I like how God, we're so respectful, not calling them losers. But on that player's side, I like the idea of Adam, and I know you as a baseball fan like this, and I know we don't really have like locker rooms per se, but I like that format of like where it's pretty casual, informal at the end. They're like, you know, cooling down after their game or whatever at their locker, and you know, you have a group of reporters that come over and talk to them. I like that style, kind of post-match breakdown, where it's not on field, it's not on court, but it's like, you know, they've had time to regroup and really collect their thoughts and figure out what they want to say. Lightweight, breathable,
seamless.
Selkirk CourtStrike. And what I do like is the all one color and the black, because I like to wear the black socks, and then it kind of looks like my sock kind of like blends into my shoe, and you don't know where you don't know if I'm just wearing all socks or I just like the black. It's a nice style.
Yeah, it looks good. And
anyways, these are available.
Rob, 6-month sole guarantee too, which is super important for me because I'm an explosive athlete and a high-end mover with you know, world-class foot speed and footwork. So sometimes I just blow through the soles. So to have that for 6 months is something that I need.
I'm just like picturing you like shuffling and dragging your feet all over the place. So you probably do go through soles pretty quickly.
I do. So
I'm
excited for it.
I don't think you're a foot. You're not a foot stepper. You're a foot dragger.
That's right. Big difference. So, and I'm not the only one. So I see a lot of these players. I like, sometimes I like to tie my shoes really tight, and sometimes I get the loop of the tie and I slide on that and it rips, and I hate it when that happens. But also the edge and the toe seems to be my left big toe area, just sole gone. So this is exciting.
And did I ever tell you the story? I think I did. I'm sure I've told this on the podcast. Marcus Giles, you remember him?
Oh yeah, second baseman for the Atlanta Braves. His brother was very good at baseball too. Brian Giles for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Continue.
Brian Giles, Padres. Yep. So I used to do. I studied broadcast journalism. Focused on sports in school. Did an internship with Fox Sports in Atlanta.
Nice.
A couple summers, but basically had the sickest role. I was basically just like shadowed a sports reporter. Her name's Katie Temple. I think she's still doing it. Not in Atlanta, but she's still reporting somewhere. But I had press box access, I had field access, I had clubhouse access. So I was standing there with Katie on the field after, you know, somebody hits a jack walk-off to win the game. And then every time, dude, this is not an exaggeration, every time after a game, I'd go into the Braves clubhouse. Marcus Giles would be going from the cafeteria to his locker with 6 beers, carrying 6 beers like this. Then he gets to his locker and just cranks Bud Lights. Boom, boom, boom. Just pretty funny stuff. But saw a lot of male body parts in that locker room, which unfortunate, but it happened.
Yeah, no, that's part of being in the locker room. That's funny about Marcus Giles. Seemed like a cool dude. I always like to hear those stories about. I don't know why I associate Marcus Giles with Dustin Pedroia. I don't know if they're just little white scrappy second basemen.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I would hear a story about how Pedroia would go down to the minor leagues. They still don't make a lot of money, but they used to make even less in the minor leagues. And he would just go down there for a rehab assignment for a brief injury or something, and just buy him clothes and take him out to these nice dinners and do all this because he had the big contract. I like hearing behind the scenes stories like that. It's really cool. So I actually have not heard that about Marcus Giles. So thank you for sharing. I wish it was something maybe a little bit better than Bud Light. But if you got to crack a couple after a big game, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
Simple man.
Yeah.
Hey, and also Adam, you make Marcus Giles look like, or maybe Marcus Giles makes you look like. No, let's go, Adam. Which way should we phrase this? You make Marcus Giles look like an elementary school. No, you're very tall compared to Marcus Giles. God, that was just butchered.
That was butchered, but in a perfect way. It was something about me being tall, so I am. You can.
Yes, I was just trying to build you up because Marcus Giles is not a large man,
and you did.
But you are.
Yes. Well, thank you, Robert. What is this? So that large width, not height? Is that what is that what you meant? Okay, yeah, whatever. Anyway,
I just meant like a athletic specimen.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Let's go with that. All right. Let's move on over to men's doubles. So pretty fun storylines there. Of course, we need to talk about Matt Wright and Quang Duong, who got steamrolled 0-3, but no one cares about the score. Who won? The shot that Ben Johns took at the face of Quang, and that's kind of one of the weird things about it for me is that the match was, I don't know exactly when it was in the match. I know it was a little bit earlier in the match, but they were winning comfortably. I didn't notice anything through that particular match that Quang was doing egregiously with high speed ups, chest, throat, head. So I have to feel like it was something from a previous match or a style that Quang plays that Ben Johns was sending a message with that particular shot. Thoughts on that happening in general in pickleball in tournament play? Headhunting, sending a message, brush back like another baseball reference. Yeah, what do you think?
I mean, I don't understand why it was so such a big topic of conversation. To be honest, I think this is what the game is. It's to me, it's no different than lobbing, right? There's no tactic in any sport that's I don't know, if it's within the rules, you employ the tactic. You know what I mean? It's So I didn't understand kind of the whole uproar. If players are out there at their own risk, right? They understand that you can get hit with a ball. You're much more likely to get hit with the ball in the face or the eye off a deflection off your own paddle or a deflection off your partner's paddle, friendly fire, versus a straight headshot from an opponent. You've got 14 feet, away, in that respect. You've got maybe 12 inches when it's your own paddle to your face. So I don't know. To me, it's part of the game, and it's not the first time that I've seen Ben do it. I remember there was a tournament way back, Adam. You're still playing. This must have been 21, 22, maybe 21. And it was in Newport. And I think Ben was playing with Matt Wright, and I think he was playing you and Deckel. And no, I'm 100% sure he was playing you and Deckel. And I remember it was maybe 0-0 in the match or 1-0. And it was a soft dink. I think you hit a dink. And then I don't think it was mixed. I think it was men's. And Ben just took a forehand off the dink and blasted it right into Deckel's chest. And, that's his buddy and business partner. And did it to Deckel, and it does set a tone at the beginning of a match, So, I don't know what the intent was with Quang. I find it kind of funny that Quang, who to me is he's Avatar ball bender. He's his socials hilarious. To me, he's just, I love reading the stuff he posts and whatnot. Obviously, this tournament's been not so ideal in terms of public persona because he's having to deal with the Julian chirping and understanding why that came about. The paddle stuff with him pulling out the proton mid-match when he's signed with Selkirk. And then obviously this stuff with, getting a headshot. So I just find it kind of funny that Kwong, who's like the most mild-mannered guy in pickleball, is turned into this villain somehow.
Yeah, no, I'm
Not
with
somehow.
you.
I mean, he should never be under contract and play with a different paddle. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
And Selkirk should absolutely Selkirk should absolutely do whatever they have to do to protect their brand.
On social media
and
variety.
it's wild.
It is. And yeah, for someone who didn't really make any deep runs in the draw at all, there was a lot of talk of Kwong Duong at the tournament and after the tournament. So I agree completely with you. Let's see here. We had an early loss from Gabe Tardio and J.W. Johnson to Noe Cliff and Rafa Hewitt. So I thought that was surprising. Pretty comfortable in 2 games as well. So I'm not sure what happened there.
Adam.
Yes.
Another little hot take here.
Okay.
Obviously, look, J-Dub, Tardio, they're homies, they're fine. Tardio's playing with Ben. My hot take is that I think people are just, yes, Ben and Colin have one less. I still, like, if we talk about, like the ceiling's higher with Ben and Tardio, but I think the consistency won't be nearly as there. So I think people are really overblowing on how like unbeatable Gabe and Ben will be. I think there's going to be a lot of decision making from Gabe potentially, and a lot of indecision in those middle balls where Gabe likes to pitch and play a big right. Ben's obviously used to taking 75-80% of the court in men's. I think people are overblowing how like unbeatable Ben and Gabe will be. I don't think that's the case at all. I actually think that if you have a Ben and Colin playing a Ben and Gabe, that a Ben and Colin could potentially win that more than 50% of the time.
Yeah, no, it's a reasonable take. I do agree with the lower floor, higher ceiling from Tardio. Some really big wins sprinkled into his career, especially in 2024. But yeah, he takes a random clunker. Not that Hewitt and Noe Cliff can't play some quality ball, but every now and then, and I feel like he gets, I don't know if I want to call it a zone out, but every now and then I'll see Gabe and he has an interesting demeanor. Sometimes he's real fired up and sometimes he's kind of somewhere in the middle. And then sometimes he's kind of like, looking at a butterfly, like the 6-year-old kid playing soccer and the butterfly goes by.
Yeah.
So, he's a kid. So I love everything he brings to the table. I absolutely love the kid, but I do think that occasionally I see him not playing at the peak of his powers. And, like you said, with a couple of those middle things, game style, that kind of situation, they're gonna steamroll some good teams at times. But I think that a couple early L's, especially in the first handful of tournaments, really wouldn't surprise me that much either.
Yeah, agreed. Adam, how deep we rolling? We at almost 50 minutes in here.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a quick. I'm going to go through the quick hitting things left on the card. Sorry, we've had you've cut out a couple times. I kind of lost flow a little bit, but we're gonna get through it.
Yeah.
So we had Hayden and Fed play one of the best matches I've ever seen against Leung and Garnett, double pickle, 11-0, 11-0 in that particular matchup. I called that match, and it was one of the most masterful performances I've seen from a right side player in Hayden Patriquin. And then they were able to beat Jaume Martinez-Vic and Augusta Scuff 13-11 in the third, with Jaume playing some very good pickleball. Agiga, solid but unspectacular, I would say, in that particular matchup. But Hayden and Fed are legit, and they didn't do particularly well in the finals against Ben and Colin. So yeah, that's pretty much men's doubles. Mixed doubles, Christian Alshon,
Adam,
Tyra Black.
I think
Yeah,
I think
go
an
ahead.
0-0 loss, Adam.
Yes.
I think an 0-0 loss, you're out of the next tournament. You don't. Yeah, you're out. You don't get to play the next tournament.
You get your entry revoked
get like
for
you
an
get
0-0
suspended.
lost.
You don't get to participate.
Yeah, you get
0-0
fined.
loss. You don't.
Yeah, for like
you get fined.
Yes. So it's like not putting out a good quality product for the viewers with that lopsided match, especially I believe it was a quarterfinal, not positive on that. That's an easy 10K. Pull the ripcord on that 10K, find that team, and that's that.
0-0, dude. 0-0.
And
0-0.
14 minutes. It was the last match of the night, so I was a little excited. I could go lay in bed and eat chocolates or
It's
whatever.
a dream come true for you.
Yeah, whatever I do. But still, a wild situation. I don't even. And the crazy part is, we were joking about the fine, but I don't even think Garnett and Loong played that badly. They played okay. It was just too good from Fed and H. So mixed, as I was saying, quick run through here. Christian Alshon, Hurricane Tyra Black looked fantastic. Tyra Black played just spectacularly in doubles. A big fan of her game, her skill set. She's got some special things that she does out there. 9-9 over Brighton Patrickwen was a great win. James and Rachel Rohrabacher had some nice play, taking out the Johnsons. Unfortunately, Big Papa Jimmy is just susceptible to the injuries. So the back tightened up on him, didn't even play the bronze medal match. And he had the shoulder thing last year, back things a couple times. So hope Ignatowicz is good to go moving forward, but that's too bad. And Fed and Catherine made a nice run as well, all the way to Championship Sunday. Had a quality 12-10 win in game one and got kind of steamrolled after that by Ben and Anna Leigh, which is not surprising. And the last main thing that I want to talk about here is we talked about Anna Leigh's dominance, which has never been more apparent in singles, but they did crush Jackie Kawamoto and Vivian Glosman after dropping game one 11-2, 11-2 in games 2 and 3. But Vivian Glosman, that is the type of player that is going to give Anna Leigh trouble. That's 6 inches of height and a few extra inches and arm length. And some of the stuff that Vivian Glosman was doing in that match, neutralizing the rolls of Anna Leigh with her length, taking some dinks out of the air. When Anna Leigh hits that, she has all the spots with her shot. So when she is going line and going middle, that's a lot of responsibility for anyone. But Glosman, even when she was beat a couple times, was able to reach or use some of her movement and length to neutralize some of those shots. And then, of course, Vivian has great put away power and some real similar level of pace on her shots as Anna Leigh Waters. So I know they didn't get the W, but I thought Glosman and Kawamoto played great in that match. It was an extremely high level. And if anyone is going to unseat Anna Leigh Waters, it's going to be someone with the body type, the athleticism of Vivian Glosman.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point there too, Adam. Anytime you have like aggressive rolls off dinks or, like we see in the women's game, it's a step off the line, everybody's rolling top spin off both wings. The way to neutralize that is, like you said, with Gloss, is by just taking that out of the air and cutting it off. And not everybody can do that. Obviously, you have to have the size and the reach to be able to do it. But I think you're absolutely right. I think that's the type of player. I mean, we say this now, right? But then it never seems to matter. So, so it just doesn't matter. We could have like a 6'6" female that is fast and best touch in the world, and Anna Leigh's still going to steamroll her somehow. So, yeah, I don't know. We say it's what should be the thing that takes her down, but honestly, I have no idea, which is why I want to talk to some of the ladies about what they think. And I think, I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah, it's funny. Anna Bright calls her she's the chosen one, and she basically is the chosen one. Anna Lee Waters very impressive, but yeah. So that's just me digging at something that could possibly throw a hiccup into Anna Lee's results, but otherwise,
Got to dig at this point.
We have to dig at this point. So just to finish off that women's doubles, 4 games against the girlies. For Catherine Parenteau and Anna Lee Waters. Game 4 was actually 12-10, so very, very tight in that game 4, and that easily could have gone the distance. And, of course, Jackie Kawamoto and Vivian Glausman losing a very tight 10-12, 7-11 to Georgia Johnson and Tyra Black, who looked really great. Took down the girlies 11-2 in game 1 of that semifinal, and then a very close 11-6, 11-8 after that. So women's doubles, probably the best event. Fantastic and good to see Georgia raising her game a little bit and Tyra raising her game. So possibly, we could get 3 or 4 teams that are consistently in the mix as opposed to just 2 right now. That's all I got.
Love it. Adam, who do you think's on each side, men's and women's, who's going to be your breakout player, and do we know who they are yet of 2025?
Yeah, I mean, you could give a more obvious, like a player that's already ranked pretty high that might have a chance to get into that top couple. In terms of just full-on breakout of someone who's more middling right now or lower, I'm going to have to ponder that. And I'm going to write it in my notes here to talk about that next week.
Let's chat about that next week.
That's actually a great thing. Let's do an obvious player that could jump into the top couple, and let's do more of a dark horse, lower ranked player that could really maybe jump into the top 10 possibly. I think that's a great one, especially since we're kind of at the beginning of the year. Noted.
Love it. Noted. All right, man. Well, we've done we talked about how great Selkirk shoes are. I've got a lightweight hoodie on. It's fantastic stuff. I've got my Selkirk underwear on. Just they don't make underwear, but I would if they made it.
I'd wear them.
Yeah, not mine, right? You'd wear Selkirk's underwear.
Whatever. We're bonded. We're bonded.
We're bonded. Well, producer Josh is about to have a baby. Well, I mean, his wife's about to have a baby. So, he might leave us stranded and solo on an episode or 2, but I hope not. But best wishes to you, Mr. Josh, and your lovely wife.
Mm-hmm.
And we should do this. We should do this next week.
Yeah, I like that idea. Let's do it next week, brother.
Let's do it.